See.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Jesus. Aaron. Aaron. Carmen. Carmen, are you here? Vivian. Ashley. Rocco. Lewis. Zoe. Emma. You're here. Alan. Lonnie. David. Kimberly. Pablo. Alexis. Miley. Chastity. You're here. Rachel. Emily. Emma. Okay. Ryan. Allison. Kurt. Ariana. Lyric. Bruce. Chu. Natalie. Jordan. Right. Rama. Elizabeth. Erica.
Here.
Joshua. Estrella. Samuel. Jocelyn. Alan. Lucia. Delia. Okay. All right. So Johari window. Tell us what they're open and blind. Some people, not everyone. I only got a few emails, but I should really have this to talk about. They should have it next class to the latest because I'm tracking it. So who can tell us what they're open and blind? I only have like 5 or 7 emails. So
I forgot the email.
oh, awesome, cool, great.
No, we have.
Oh, okay, awesome, great.
Yeah, everybody.
Oh, everybody. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I was concerned that I didn't get a lot of emails. All right, awesome.
Maybe they didn't hear that.
It was just so I have a way to track it. Like if you take a picture with your phone and email it, that's fine. As long as it's readable, that's fine.
That's what we did with the first assignment.
Yeah.
I remember.
So the idea was that we talk about open and blind and then it's subliminal messages as a class discussion. Cool. Awesome. Well, then I'm impressed. I thought because I had no emails, you all wouldn't be ready. Awesome. Cool. So who's brave? Or should we just start on the front? Or yeah. We'll just,
Note to self and others is I need to let others finish talking when I disagree with something. And I get worked up about things I care about and sometimes don't express it in a healthy way.
okay. So that was the one.
And then, no, that was the note to self and others.
That was open.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know that and other people know that too.
All right.
And then my blind would be my,
Let's give her the
sorry. And then my blind would be my savior complex and helping others in need without considering myself and how loud I talk sometimes.
oh, there you go. Nice. Maybe stay in the front row to go around.
She wasn't here last week.
Oh,
I don't know if she
okay.
knows about the behavior.
I'll sever with you. Someone else in the front row? Do you have that? Are you ready to talk about it? Ariana?
Yeah. Oh, my blind spot, was, that was very opinionated, so, like, I came up very strongly with my opinions, and so sometimes, like, that can cause, like, argumentative thing. It's not good, though. And my open is that I'm like very energetic as well. So I think that also kind of like plays into like my line, if that makes sense. I just feel like a lot of times, like the energy I have can build up on like a certain thing. So it can come off wrong. It's also good sometimes.
As we all work through that, like you can think about if you want to change anything, if you're like, I don't know if I like this, you can self-reflect, metacognition, and you can potentially change it. So
Good and
yeah, it's good. Next row, what do we got? Yeah.
I feel like at times I'm like very understanding and patient with like my work and I'm a sympathetic person. I like feel a lot of feelings, even like when I'm talking to somebody.
Like maybe even empathetic.
Empathetic.
Yeah.
And my blind is like what I'm capable of doing. Like sometimes, like for example, I go fishing with my boyfriend a lot. And I refuse to do some things like taking the fish out of the hose, but I'm capable of doing it. But I just, and kind of like my own some stuff that I'm very capable of doing. I just choose. Yes.
Oh, okay.
There's something.
Good examples. All right. Good. Left or right of you, whoever wants to go. Next. What do you got?
I find my intelligence when it comes to certain things. And then my hidden is like I can read other people. Like I know what like how they're feeling and everything without like having to like talk to them.
Oh. Nice. All right.
Yeah, I did it.
Did it hidden. Thanks for being brave. Vulnerability is a sign of strength, not weakness, by the way. You get that wrong a lot of times, but we have. Right, next row. Third row back. What do you guys got? Ladies, share open and blind. And if you're brave, share hidden. And I don't think you're gonna have unknown. If you have unknown and you can back it up, then great. But
People are, what firm, I have the absent heart, I have good feelings, I'm explosive, and easy to anger. And then for not known self, one, it was resiliency, it's much than others.
Oh, please.
No temper,
that is.
outspoken about my opinions and my ideas, thoughtful, I'm too hard on myself. And, I spend too much time. For my hidden, I put, sometimes I care too much, I am pretty judgmental, I have certain values, like kind of old fashioned sometimes, and I can be a brute sometimes.
Nice. Right on.
For my no self or the open, they call it humble, being prepared in life. You have to do the ones that I do when I conversate with people. One of them that's kind of well, frugal was kind of one that's bad. Forgetful. I don't know if you can count that kind of known to self, not known to self since I forget. So it kind of goes both ways. But yeah, going through that the blind one, sorry, it goes to the blind. I got a cautious, a critical thinker, relentless. Again, sometimes oversleepy. But patient. Some things I put for myself, hidden for myself, is that I tend to like put myself in other people's shoes a lot. I personally forget like whenever I make like whenever a decision or something bad happens directly because of my decision, that's usually a pretty bad guilt that always bears on me. And I usually keep it to myself. Um, somebody else call it frugal, but I call myself cheap. And just always being like career driven over career driven.
That's always a bad thing. Being
Yeah.
being career driven.
But
So, you know.
else hidden.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, right on. What do you got? Yeah.
For my known self, it's probably active. I think I'm good with details, organized, and I take a thinker. And not known to self, pushy because I feel pushy sometimes. I'm busy and focused and strategic.
Nice. All right, all the way in the back, what do you have? Nice. I mean, like I said, as you discover these, you can work through them. So maybe you work less. All right. Who else in the back row? One else in the back row have an open or blind and talk about it, preferably both. Can you guys have something next week? If you don't have it now. No, you can't because you have to ask somebody. Oh, okay. Then tell us. Yeah, then you tell us open and blind.
My response to, like, if somebody asks me a question, I can't respond really, like, I have to respond really, and like, no one else kind of, obvious, the answer should be obvious. That's interesting. I also got told that I would be very, like, too like, good people. I don't really see.
It's blind.
I don't really see. I just think that. Think that something else, like, just, you know, for open, I procrastinate a lot of people again. Um, just say that.
Doesn't really work, by the way. It's just luck when it works with procrastination. Yes, I've done it, but it's absolutely academic roulette. You can't do better work if you have less time. It's not, doesn't work. But when you pull it off, you're like, yes, I can. It's really not a thing because all the times it didn't work, you don't like to remember those. All of us, I procrastinated. Just it's a bad idea. And I'm just saying it's a general statement to help everyone. So, do you have something? Anybody?
Open, don't really want to talk about myself. For blind, I was told that I have a tendency to expect other people to know things that I know.
That's a good takeaway. So if you work through, you can think about using that if you like or dislike it. So, all right. Anybody else in the back row that's ready? All right, let's go to the other back row. What do you got?
I'm shy and I like to joke a lot. We like be uncomfortable. I like have choices. And I'm very thoughtful. I'm very for note to self. I'm friendly when people talk to me. And I'm caring and trustworthy. And then not know to self. People think I'm outgoing, which I guess from other people's perspective it looks like that. But inside I feel like I'm just like shy and nervous. And also adventurous, which I am sometimes like scared to try things, but I'm always like out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say my blind spot was I'm like very friendly. Sometimes like I don't think I am, and I'm very trusting, and then known to self, compassionate, and or the compassion and caring, and then was hidden, and it is I'm very stubborn.
Okay. You agree? Yeah.
I put that basically I get very impatient sometimes, and that I also rely on others too much. And then for the open, I put friendly and kind, and then very talkative sometimes. So that's okay.
Mhm.
So for my open, I feel like I'm very expressive, not like talking wise, but like facial wise. I'm very expressive. I feel like I show
I can talk a lot, and sometimes I guess that comes with my blind, is that I don't know when to stop talking to people. I can also be very intrusive.
Nice. Now you know.
Yeah.
Well, it's wrong. I'm trying ones I don't know about. So.
And then for blind, I avoid difficult combos, and I'm intentionally self-reliant.
Everybody gets that.
Well, I've been told that I let people walk all over me and that people take advantage of how fast I am. And then for the open, I just put down easy to talk to, scary, and I put that scale.
But saying no can be hard, but it's probably pretty important in this your like trajectory in school. So you get graduation. You can say yes on graduation day. Just move for that. Just for all of us. I've struggled to say no sometimes too. So I did say no quite unsuccessfully. The ex friend of mine, but yeah. That was fun. What do you got?
Well, when I put, I usually give a lot to others, like I'm always, even sometimes like try to other people leave up for myself. And then for, blind, I was told that sometimes I expect the same from other people, or I often expect the same from other people to get the same to me. I get disappointed often when I don't get that same reciprocation.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
So I was told I tend to interrupt in conversations, open dialogue where like it's a subject that I'm passionate about. And when I overstep other people's opinions, insert mine, you think that's the correct one. I was told that I'm very straightforward and to the point, like blunt at times, which is a good and bad thing. And then for open, I put I always need to stay busy. That's hard for me to focus. Like just doing one thing at a time. I'm always doing multiple things. Like I just can't sit there and do one thing for some reason. And then the other thing, I tend to say stuff out loud to people. Like if I want to do something, I tend to share it with everyone because I feel like I have to do it. So like it's something that I do. I always say that I'm gonna do it, so that way, like in my head, I have to.
Open, I'm organized, when you're back. I'm also, I can appear unapproachable, so I'm talking to. Dead end, competitive, and worry about letting people down, that kind of. Yes, that's right.
I wasn't here last week, and I didn't understand the assignment when I asked you over text.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll start her.
For my not known to self, I've been told I'm blunt, hyper focused, hold grudges, people pleaser. For my known to self, I know that I hold grudges, also temper, obsessive compulsive and stubborn.
You have false first time. Get your email.
Nothing.
So what do you guys think? Little messages? Yes, no, are they a thing? They not a thing? Little messages? What's your any like rationales? Like not just yes or no, like what's some critical thing behind little messages?
No, but more so no, because I feel like unless somebody tells you about it or you know about it, then, or you're like not, like, unless you're looking for it, then I feel like it's kind of,
Like you never see it unless you knew it was there to see it.
in a sense, yeah,
Can you get
that's
that?
kind of how I felt about it anyways,
Okay.
when I did the exercise.
Okay. Anybody else wanted to quantify that? Yeah, sure, in the back. You got. You mean like subtlety, or do you mean like, or do you mean like just absolutely hidden, subliminal? Because sometimes you can like imply something and like not come out and say it, and it's kind of implied, so it's like more subtle than overt. Does that make sense? I just want to fully understand your point. Are you saying like completely subliminal, or are you saying like more like subtle? Because I know I've done at least a subtlety sometimes. I don't know if I've always done subliminal, but I've been subtle. What was that? Like more, you say subtle? Okay. You want to jump into, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I've seen more subliminal messages as in like people will post something like a picture or something, right? And it's like without you seeing it or like noticing it's there, like you could pick up on it. For instance, like I've seen TV commercials where like they've broken it down and like there's hidden like small objects in like the picture that you wouldn't realize were there until you pause the screen.
Yeah.
And then it's there. And like in that aspect, I think it could work because I feel like you might be able to see that without realizing you're seeing it. And another one could be something as easy as like the movies, like, you know, you're not thirsty, you're not hungry. But then for whatever reason, right before the show starts, they show the concession stand. And then all of a sudden, now I'm feeling like I want a Coke. And it's like, we didn't want that. Like subliminally, it was just on the screen without putting two and two together, but it's probably when Coke. So.
We got anybody else's little messages? They're definitely there. Everyone's okay with that. I'm going to try to record from the podium so that I could possibly post this, have a recording if you miss class. But everyone's got to be okay with that because it's two parties, and I'm just recording this. I'm not recording. I might hear you guys talking, but it's just like the slides. So it's okay with that. Cool. If you're not, speak up. I'm literally recording from my desk on Zoom just to like have a recording of the class to like have available for you guys.
Oh, okay, okay.
That I could probably, I don't know if I can post it in Canvas. I might have to do it like via YouTube, but that would be a way that you guys could have that in front of you. Is it gonna work? Maybe. To share. That'll work. Yeah. We left off here, right?
Yeah.
Because it was blind spot, I'm pretty sure, right? Getting that wrong, tell me. So we have dark adaptation, recover. You guys see, okay. Oh, you're right. You're right, because we did the activity. We did this, we did that, we did this, you're right. Oh. Wavelength. Okay.
What slide was it for?
This is 33. 2025 census.
You thought it was offensive.
That all makes sense in a moment. It's not just. It's always fun with my psych class because I'm like losing it with the pictures, but they're actually related to the slides. So we have wavelength, interpret as frequency or pitch, high, medium, or low. Amplitude interpreted as volume, how soft or loud its sound is. Purity interpreted as timbre. or richness in the tone of sound, and hertz, cycles or waves per second, which is a measurement of frequency. Nope, not what I wanted to do, sorry. I was trying to get rid of it. I was trying to grab this thing. There we go.
Got too much light? Maybe it's like that.
I
I thought the lights were out. Like, do you guys see okay? Okay, if we need more light, just speak up, or I can turn that on.
Or I can turn it on and like dim it. It's just, I think it's getting slowly getting darker earlier.
I can't help that.
Okay, so we have two sound waves. The higher the wave, the louder the sound. The lower the wave, the softer the sound. If waves are close together in time, that would give us a high frequency. The pitch is perceived as a high pitch. Waves that are farther apart, low frequency, are perceived as having a low pitch. Yeah, yeah.
In this case.
Sure.
Right, so the wavelength determines how long it is.
Hmm.
Hertz tells you how many waves per second. So hertz is directly tied to wave, because the speed of sound is constant.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it goes out like this. It's not a straight, it's like
Wait.
that. Yeah, so it's kind of, yeah, as long as you have, yeah, that makes sense. The what? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that would absolutely change the speed. So this is how we measure sound in decibels. I'd be very mindful of the scale. I will with headphones, but you can seriously damage your ears if you have cranked to full volume, whatever music genre you like. Just be mindful of that. So just 85, 90, as you can see, like you don't even feel the pain until 120 decibels versus 85, 90, where you can have hearing loss. So just be careful with listening to music so that you don't lose your hearing.
Mine is partially gone because of my boyfriend's dad who does systems on the bikes.
Yeah.
And he has it blasting in the garage sometimes. I cannot hear anything. Like it's really loud.
I have slight hearing loss in my left ear because I was at the bar and this girl was talking to me and she was shouting because the music was loud and I heard something pop. And yeah,
I believe him.
I still hear it, just not as well out of the left ear.
Yeah.
Headphones blasting in his ear, you can hear it from the kitchen.
Yeah, that's
TV.
tell him this because I can wreck it.
On blast, you can hear it upstairs, downstairs.
It sounds like he's already losing.
He's probably already losing the hearing.
Yeah.
Earphones because he can't even listen to us. He just barges into the functions and without listening to us.
This is healthier, by the way, than inside the ear.
The headphones.
Headphones.
Another good hearing aid by Bluetooth though, you can listen to music or so.
But you only get one shot at your hearing, so like your whole life. So what was that? I mean, like there's hearing aids and there's even cochlear implants that are a little more severe than like a hearing aid, but yeah, be really mindful of that. So the auditory canal, short tunnel that runs from the pinna to the eardrum, tympanic membrane. Eardrum, a thin section of skin that tightly covers the opening into the middle part of the ear. When sound waves hit the eardrum, it vibrates and causes three tiny bones in the middle ear to vibrate: the hammer, anvil, and the stirrup. The reason they're named like that is because they look like the hammer, anvil, and stirrup, by the way. That's fair. Like you could kind of move around like a stirrup. What?
Although I will be honest, I don't know what stirrup looks like.
Yeah. Just think about your foot in. We have the cochlea, snail-shaped structure of the inner ear that's filled with fluid. The organ of the corti, which rests in the basilar membrane, contains receptor cells for the sense of hearing. You have your auditory nerve, the bundle of axons from the hair cells in the inner ear. They receive neural messages from the organ of the corti. The structure of the ear. This drawing shows the outer ear, A, beginning with the outer ear, pinna, ear canal, and eardrum. Vestibular organ includes the semicircular canals and the otolith organs inside the round structures just below the cochlea. Then we have B, the middle ear, sound waves entering Through the ear canal causes the eardrum to vibrate, which causes each of the three bones in the middle ear to vibrate, amplifying the sound. The stirrup rests on the oval window, which transmits its vibration to the fluid in the inner ear. We have C, the inner ear. Large spaces are filled with fluid shown in purple that vibrates as the window vibrates. A thin membrane suspended in this fluid is called the basilar membrane, which contains the organ of the corti. The structure composed of the hair-like cells that send signals via the auditory nerve to the thalamus, which then relays information to the auditory cortex. Then we have D, the close-up view of the basilar membrane in dark pink, with the hair cells of the organ of the corti in lighter pink. Notice the axons, small green lines, leaving the hair cells from the auditory nerve. Just the visual what that looks like. So we have pitch, the psychological experience of sound that corresponds to the frequency of the sound waves. Higher frequencies are perceived as higher pitches. We have place theory, theory of pitch that states that different pitches are experienced by stimulation of hair cells on different locations on the organ of the corti. And the way I like thinking place theory is like maybe like a piano, maybe. The way different hairs, way to think about it. We have frequency theory. You're like a guy running. As to the speed of vibrations in the basilar membrane. Or the volley principle, theory of pitch, that states that frequencies from about 400 hertz up to 4,000 hertz cause the hair cells, auditory neurons to fire in a volley pattern or take turns firing. Same people playing volleyball. Volley principle. I didn't just draw those things randomly. They were related. We just hadn't gotten there yet. And which one do you think makes the most sense and why? Is it place theory, frequency theory, or the volley principle? Which one do you think is how we experience sound? Can you tell us why?
That's the one that's gonna be like where you're at and then like close enough for you to even be able to hear and tell like what it is. I know.
No, because it has to do with how it, so like, it's like a piano, like different hair cells, or the speed, the vibration, or they take turns firing. So what we're talking about is if we look at this right here, it's how these fire, we experience sound. So is it kind of like the piano? Like that's the place theory in terms of where the sound is, or they take turns firing, that's volley principle, or is it the speed of this vibration goes through when you hear? So think about sound, but the idea is to try to think about which one makes the most sense and why. Should be one of the three, but there are three different theories in terms of how we experience sound. So the visuals like try to give you like another way to like conceptualize it. So you could still say place theory, but I would add more to your,
What I was saying.
yeah, if you wanted to make that case, or you can think about the other ones and see if they make more sense to you, but you can still make a case for it. It's just
Say that's probably some combination of frequency and volume.
and why would you say that?
Well, because with place theory, what doesn't make any sense is if the higher the pitch, the further it's gonna travel through the cotton. But you'd be hearing all the way down. It stimulates the nerves all the way down the cotton. So instead of just a high pitch, you would also hear a lower pitch at the same time, but you can hear a high pitch and a low pitch.
So that's why you think it's
That's why.
frequency or volley. Okay, that's a decent case. What do you want to jump in at, Ariana? What do you think?
The only reason is because each hair cell in the auditory canal has to bend a certain way and needs to reach a certain frequency in order to bend. And that is what causes like when you need to fire off and like stimulate the brain to like get the sound. So depending on like the hertz it has, like that hair hair cell won't fold and cause that like hearing, like the reception
Yeah.
hearing. So I think it'd be volley would be the most accurate.
It's actually a pretty solid argument for volley. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other theories? Talk to me. So we have types of hearing impairments. You can have a conduction hearing impairment, which can result from a damaged eardrum. which would prevent rather sound waves from being carried into the middle ear properly, or damage to the bones of the middle ear. Sounds cannot be conducted from the eardrum to the cochlea. Nerve hearing impairment can result from damage in the inner ear or damage in auditory pathways and cortical areas of the brain. Yes, talk to me. So we have a cochlear ear implant. Anything back, just talk to me. Microphone implanted just behind the ear that picks up the sound from the surrounding environment. This is not a hearing aid. This is different. It's like a more severe treatment. Speech processor will select and arrange sound picked up with the microphone. The implant is a transmitter and receiver, converting signals into electrical impulses collected by an electrode array in the cochlea sent to the brain. It's because she has really bad hearing. So like,
She said she just woke up one day and she didn't have her hearing and she was 5 years like that until they tried surgery on one side, it didn't work, and then they tried it on the other and it worked.
oh,
But she was completely deaf. Like she woke up one day completely deaf and then 5 years was like that. And then I guess she got two surgeries and one of them didn't work, the other one did. So now she has like, it's like magnetic.
Yeah.
Those two are, so yeah, she got that.
yeah, like usually it's a hearing aid. There's a test, like mom was recently getting a hearing aid and I was there. So I said, what about this? And they said, it's because your hearing's actually pretty good. Like this is like severe hearing, like you just said, like, hey, she didn't have any, she couldn't hear sound. Hearing aids, like, you don't hear sound as well.
Yeah.
They're all pretty small these days. Not this, so this is gonna be a little more obvious because of what it does, but
Yeah.
the hearing aids are, I mean, you can barely even see them now because of technology. Yeah, yeah, you don't even, yeah.
I know, but the other one, like you can
Yeah.
tell, like there's like a little circle on the side of her.
Wow. That's incredibly unusual, but maybe it's genetic or something.
I'm sorry?
That's incredibly unusual to just wake up with no hearing. Maybe that
Yeah.
was genetic, or maybe something happened that she
Didn't,
was unaware of.
yeah, no, she said that one day she just woke up and
Wow.
her body can do crazy things.
Yeah. Did we talk about Wim Hof yet in this class? Wim Hof?
I don't think so.
What? No, this guy will do stuff like he'll sit outside in like ice cold, like in just like shorts and like severe weather. So he ran in barefoot through the snow for like 90 minutes and he permanently damaged his foot and part of his leg because you can't run through the snow that long barefoot. And then the MDs were like, you've got permanent damage. It's not going to heal. Well, he didn't like that. So he thought about it for 2.5 months and using the idea of self-fulfilling prophecy and the brain, he healed himself and they couldn't medically explain it. And it wasn't praying, okay? It was just the brain. It was just literally, I don't like that diagnosis. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to heal myself. And it healed. They didn't have to, no, he had permanent damage. Like it's not going to repair itself. He can still walk, but, and then he thought about it for 2.5 months. And then what they said couldn't be repaired. It's a very interesting documentary. Well, it was like he had damaged. I think he still had nerves and stuff, but like they're like you've permanently damaged part of your foot and your leg. It's not going to ever fully heal. And he was like, "Oh hell to the no!" And he thought about it for like 2.5 months, and he went back to the doctors, and it was all repaired. And they said it wasn't possible.
How long?
Oh, I have to pull the. It's on. It was on Unsolved. So it was William Shatner, the Unsolved Mysteries.
But before or after social media, because now I think there's too many distractions to be that aware to heal yourself.
Well, I can get a date. I'd have to look, but I can get one for you. It was semi-recent. I mean, he's well known. He's been doing stuff with his mind for like 20, 30 years now. The guy's like in his 50s, but like he'll sit outside in like severe cold weather with just like shorts on and like not get hypothermia because of his because
Or something.
he's able to think about like the brain has more power than we give it credit for. Like brain can do.
Sabotage.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably Dunning-Kruger or the imposter syndrome. Like, let's not sabotage ourselves. So the cochlear implant, this is what it would look like. So in a cochlear implant, a microphone implanted just behind the ear picks up sound from the surrounding environment. A speech processor attached to the implant and worn outside the body selects and arranges the sound picked up on the microphone. The implant itself is a transmitter and receiver, converting the signals from the speech processor into the electrical impulses that are collected by the electric ray in the cochlea and then sent to the brain. You're right about the self set. I read something like weeks ago that helped me today on the phone. today on the phone. I read something that someone told me to read about a school, and then the important hiring person called, and I'm like, actually, I think I'm in this other batch of faculty because I read through the 57 pages weeks ago. Instead of it could have easily been self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Because if I wouldn't have known what he was talking about, I hadn't followed the directions and read this like a little bit boring 57-page document. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. So
Because you did know.
yeah, I was like, actually, I'm in one of the first two. I can't tell you the acronyms. It was a few weeks ago, but I don't think I'm in one of these, and here's all the reasons why. So we have taste buds, taste receptors in the mouth, responsible for sense of taste. Gustation, the sense of taste. 5 basic tastes are going to be your sweet, sour, salty, bitter, brothy, or umami. And any other taste would be a combination of those 5 in some way, shape, or form. Oh, taste the world. This is tongue and taste buds. We have an up close picture. The right side of the drawing shows the nerves in the tongue's deep tissue. B, the taste bud is located inside the papillae and is composed of small cells that send signals to the brain when stimulated by food. C, microphotograph of the surface of the tongue showing the 2 different sizes of papillae. Taste buds are located under the surface of the large red papillae, whereas the smaller and more numerous papillae form a touch-sensitive, rough surface that helps with chewing and moving food around the mouth. Return to that. This is your gustatory cortex. This is where the brain experiences the sense of taste in the pink areas. That's the anterior insula and frontal operculum. So that's the coronal section of the human brain. Gustatory cortex is one of the regions in colored light red. So we have the sense olfaction. Olfaction is olfactory sense or sense of smell. Through the olfactory bulbs, areas of the brain located just above the sinus cavity and just below the frontal lobes that receive information from the olfactory receptor cells. There are at least 1,000 of those olfactory receptors. The breakdown, what it looks like. So your olfactory bulb, cross section of the nose and mouth. Eighth drawing shows the nerve fibers inside the nasal cavity that carry information about the smell directly to the olfactory bulb, just under the frontal lobe of the brain, shown in green. Then B, you have a diagram of the cells in the nose that process smell. The olfactory bulb is on top. Notice the cilia, tiny hair-like cells that project into the nasal cavity. These are the receptors for the sense of smell. And whatever the smell is it's coming into your nose at the molecular level. So think about the stuff you enjoy smelling. We have our somatic senses. Somatic senses, the body senses consisting of the skin senses, the kinetic sense, sense, and the vestibular senses. Soma meaning body, aesthetic meaning feeling. Those energy guys, should we take 10? Come back like right after 8. So we stay energized and move through material. So cool. Let's take 10. So 7:51, 8:01, 8:02, something like that.
We did this Johari window. So open, we're kind of talking like.
Well, last week. Since you're on the same page. Yes, no problem. You too.
I'll talk to you guys at the same time, maybe. Gonna do a quick break, but I can tell you about last week.
My goodness. And like, where's the cake? Send me your recipe. Like, I can't just pull it out of my ass. That takes skill. I think it understood it takes a bit of effort to. She's so busy. She's breathing. She's full thing. I mean, I'm not struggling, like, I'm not even gentle. You work at full time. Full time. Everything. It's just. This hour stuff. I'm like. Like that. Some people do. So do I. So do I. I mean, you're very. Yeah. I should be in a very. I was gonna come with you. Sure, the right grade. Yeah. There's no chance of it last week. I have this. I have. I'm too. Like, Changing my career and I mean, apparently goes.
Okay. You guys want to talk to you both? So this is known as Johari window. And this is, if you type in the word Johari, you like type this into the files, it'll come right up. Johari. This is the Johari window. I believe it's saved as Johari window, but just type Johari in files will come up. Known to self, known to others, open. That's who you are, we bring every day. Blind, this can be positive or negative, not known to self, known to others. The assignment was to ask somebody that you trust, like a friend, a long-term partner, a parent, another instructor, not someone that you just recently started dating. They're going to tell you how awesome you are, okay? Like the blind. And you wouldn't know this. You can't guess this because it's not known to you, it's known to someone else. Hidden, not known to others, known to you. Unknown, not known to anyone, not known to you. Yeah, because it makes a nice box. So the assignment was tell it, these are adjectives or behaviors, open and blind. So it was tell us you're open, ask someone you're blind, share it, email it to me, and then if you're brave, talk about your hidden. You're unknown, not known to others, not known to self, how would you know? That would be really hard to do. And then the other thing that was in there was the subliminal assignment. We talked about subliminal messages last week. And there's, you just type the word subliminal, I think it's either subliminal or subliminal assignment under the files. There's also 5 files that are in there, and it says to listen to them in this order. You don't want to do the subliminal assignment and read it in advance, it won't work. The idea is like, you pull it up, it says, listen to these 5 files, do you hear the thing or not? There's like 7 things that tell you what to do for instructions. And then the 8th one is like, do you believe it's subliminal messages, why or why not? So those are the 2 things that if you could just email this to me as soon as possible. Yeah. And we were talking about the concrete blind spot in the lecture. This is the abstract one. Everybody has a blind spot. One of mine is like, I think because of my education, if I'm talking to my parents, then I know what I'm talking about. And they're like, we've been on the planet like decades longer than you. I'm like, touche, blind. My other blind that I shared with everyone last week was I moved into an Airbnb when I moved back to Illinois because I like, it was everything was online. So I went to Florida because like no state income tax, right? And better weather. So I did an Airbnb, and both my kryptonite is also my superpower. So I'm very gregarious and friendly. Well, because it was an Airbnb, there were roommates. So this guy moved in, and he had like 6, 7 symptoms of schizophrenia. He said all the wall stuff to me. I don't think he was schizophrenic. He was just it's probably some psychosis. He did some pretty crazy stuff to me. And now I've already made friends with him. And I had to listen to him. I was venting to a friend, and she pointed out to me the pace at which you made friendship was too fast. I was like, oh, blind spot. And then my last one that I shared last week was I dated this woman over the summer that was toxic and thought it was okay to like pull off and like hit me with her shirt. I'm like, that's not okay. It didn't hurt, but you can't. That's abuse. Like that's not okay. If a mutual friend of ours told me that I was mistaken for breaking up with her and I needed to have all this like all this just garbage. So I was like, no, boundaries. I don't tell you how to behave in relationships, you don't tell me. But I mistakenly did it over text. A phone call would have been better. A good friend of mine of several years was like, I don't want to defend your friend. I think she's out of line, but you probably shouldn't have done, which is what 80% of Americans do. That woman has talked over me since like high school. So I thought I was going to get my voice heard by doing it over text. I might not have lost a friend if I had talked over the phone. That might have been better. But it was, yeah, like tone. Yeah, but like that was a blind. It's like I have them too. And there's blind spots I don't know I have. So the idea is like by doing at least this is if you're brave, and then email. and I probably ask you guys to talk about this next week, is that you become a better person. Everybody in this room has a blind or a blind spot. It's just a matter you have to ask somebody because it's your blind, you would never know. And if you've heard blind spots before, ask more people. Because if you're like, I'm really self-aware, no, there's stuff I don't know. Those are just some examples that I can think of recently. There's probably other blind spots that might have even happened today with my interaction with people. I don't know what they are. Hopefully someone close to me at some point will tell me. And then, of course, if you want to increase communication with someone you care about and you're not arguing with them, tell each other your blind spots. But only if you're getting along, not in the middle of an argument. That won't end well for you. So, and that's out of those 1,000 points for the term. So it's like 60, 70 points approximately a week. If there's a class activity, so it's that and or like the class discussions, I'm using attendance, but I'm also remembering what assignments and I'm looking all up one by one at the end and then applying this proportionally. So you guys got it to me in the next couple of days. By next week at the absolute latest before class, since you guys were. Yeah, the assignments are most of what the points are. But if you just like didn't come to class and didn't do and just did the connect assignments, you would probably do okay. I think there's an auto drop policy, like they do check attendance. I have to report a few times a term. But if you come to class, you engage in a discussion, you do the other assignments that are tied to the material, those are more points. So I do 1,000 points for like professionalism, classroom activities, and I have the data points of both attendance and you guys emailing me. But if I'm like, hey, they attended all semester, but they didn't do these other things everybody else did, then I would take points against those 1,000. If you come to class, do all the stuff, these are usually like smaller things you can do. Like we're going to talk about consciousness and alcohol and drugs soon. And I'll probably have you guys break into groups to do a little bit of research on some effects of alcohol and drugs of your choice. I know there'll probably be a PowerPoint to enrich your understanding. That's something you email too with everyone's name on it so I can get a sense. I usually have everybody email that one by one, just so it's easier for me to track, even if you work in like small groups.
The chapters that we read, how much do those,
I think they're 100 points, I think.
but they affect us a lot.
Yeah, I would do them. The way,
I'm doing them, but I did not get a grade on.
so it's cumulative. Like early in the semester, your grade could tank, but if overall all the assignments are good, you do all right in the class. If you take every test, that will be different. Like the quizzes on the Connect, one or two is not gonna, it might do a lot right now, but long term it won't. But if every quiz every week
Yeah.
is that will affect you.
Okay.
And please don't read it like I totally mean that with kindness. Like I want to see everybody succeed, but I want to be fair and equitable across the board. So that's what I was like. Well, if you guys don't care and I record, I don't know if I can post it to campus, but I'm pretty sure I can post it to YouTube and I can give you guys a link. And then you'd have whatever we talked about.
If we miss class.
If you miss class, because I'm labeling them and I can record on Zoom and then everything that's set up here gets recorded and I don't put any of your personal information. I might take a question or when it's quiet or someone's talking, I might pick it up, but and that.
Like, yeah, I could use that last week.
Yeah, I was thinking I could just start doing that moving forward. I don't always remember, especially like a long class like this, but I'm like, Canvas likes to express its thoughts with hand signals because it won't let me upload it. That's why I like, but I'm thinking YouTube would work. And then I can say, go follow the YouTube link, and then it should be like me sharing the slides and talking about the stuff as well as the other activities. So yeah, moving forward. So if you miss again, hopefully you don't. Hopefully the class is fun and you want to come, but the idea is to kind of protect you. And if you're like, hey, I want to hear the audio recording again, or I want to walk through something, or if I went through something that you're like, that wasn't clear. So everybody, welcome back. We have skin senses, sensations of touch, pressure, temperature, and pain, which are felt through sensory receptors in the skin. And then we have gate control theory, where basically it has passed through a threshold to experience the pain. And we have any examples of experiencing gate control theory? I know I used to work at a grocery store years ago in the produce department, and I had a box cutter and I accidentally made a nice slice right into my thumb. Couldn't feel it for a solid 30 seconds to a minute. And the idea is like sometimes it could be the brain protecting you. Things like epinephrine, aka adrenaline, could protect that. But gate control theory, pain signals must pass through a gate located in the spinal cord. What do you got for an example?
And I didn't do it. And I didn't even know that I had it. And so I looked down and it was blood dripping and it was cold. I had to get stitches.
Yeah, that's the gate control theory. Yeah. Yeah.
And he didn't notice it until we're like, medical.
Yeah.
It does count, but I had a seizure back when I was in high school, and like I have absent seizures, and I ripped my toenail off.
Ooh.
And I didn't realize it until I like came out of it, and I like looked down because I felt wetness, and I was like gushing blood.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for that. I was not working in higher education and I was just working like financial management. And I went home on my lunch break and walked my dog, which was a Chihuahua, lunch break. And this pit bull that looked like it was on steroids, these giant shoulder blades came running out of nowhere. And I know they're not all bad. Like I met awesome pit bulls. I'm just telling the story. Okay. Like you can't say the breed's bad. The owner was bad. Okay. How the dog was conditioned was bad because I met some amazing pit bulls that okay, I just want to be everyone's dog. I'm friendly. So this one thought my chihuahua was a snack and was running towards her, knocked me over, and I was now sitting on the ground, and she was kind of ducking away like if anyone's seen The Matrix with Keanu Reeves with the bullets, so that she wouldn't get bitten. And I had this adrenaline surge, and I was like, "We're not doing this today, pal." Picking up on the dog. So I reached in, grabbed the dog by the jugular, put him in a headlock, and he stopped moving. He tried to get away, and I just like kind of hunkered down on him. But I felt like I could probably throw him 5 feet because of the adrenaline. Four good Samaritans like practically materialized around across like the road and like helped me. Some lady in like her 80s or 90s put my chihuahua like in her truck that happened to be parked like next to like the auto zone. And they came running across Taco Bell. Taco Bell. They're like, all right, if he let him go, we'll help you if he bites you. Let him go. He ran away. But I found a nice little bruise on my inside of my ankle from the giant claw of the pit bull that I never felt during that whole fiasco. Pain, the gate control theory with pain. So that dog lived like several more years. So you're not supposed to rate your hand in a dog fight, by the way. Your chances of getting bitten are over 100%, but it didn't happen to me. And I came back to work and my director's like, "How was your lunch?" I'm like, funny you should ask. How was my lunch?
Like saying your dog ate your homework.
She's like, you might want to see if your dog has internal bleeding. So then I talked to like I think my manager that she reported to, and she was like, yeah, you might want to just take another lunch and right now and go see if your dog okay. She ended up being fine, no internal bleeding, but yeah. I said I can't say it's a breed. It's just that was the bad one that I encountered in my life. So
It's like people and their kids.
yeah.
Their kids are bad because they're not teaching them right.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a cross section of the skin. The skin is composed of several types of cells that process pain, pressure, and temperature. Some of these cells are wrapped around the ends of the hairs on the skin and are sensitive to touch on the hair itself, whereas others are located near the surface, and so others just under the top layer of the tissue. So we have the kinesthetic sense of the location of the body parts in relation to the ground and each other. Proprioception, whereas where the body and body parts are located in relation to each other in space and the ground. Very similar, related concept. Anyone, any thoughts why either of these senses might be important? Burnings, you don't fall over, so like
Or that something is wrong with you.
yeah, yeah,
And you can attend to it.
yeah. So in a sense, location of body parts in relation to the ground and each other, proprioception in relation to each other in space and on the ground. So very similar. And we have the visual illusions coming up.
Practicing that they have us do on the homework. I got them all right. Even though like, cause it was asking if the certain ones were like parallel, like to distinguish if
Oh.
it was an illusion.
Oh.
I don't know how, but.
Does the aesthetic sense still help you locate the ground with your vestibular organ?
Not necessarily, because that's sensory conflict theory. That's literally the next slide.
Yeah, what I'm gonna say, because like, I could feel like this would help you find the ground if you knew the orientations ahead. Which you would know because of the.
Your eyes.
aesthetic sense.
You would from the vestibular sense, but what was that?
That's true, but not in the dark, he said.
Out in the dark.
You still need to be able to, fight off a leopard or whatever in
Yeah.
the dark.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because I was watching Jimmy Fallon the other day and they had all these people writing on things that happened with their teachers. Apparently there's a shop teacher who had like one eye and I guess the kids confronted him and his answer was Puma and he just kept moving on. So the vestibular senses, the sensation of the movement, balance of body position, we have sensory conflict theory. When you get information, that's why you're dizzy, if you go on the merry-go-round, etc. The brain doesn't know what to do with the information because you're getting different information. You're getting like the still image and you're also getting like the spinning from like, that's why when you can't really walk a straight line because of sensory conflict theory, because of the information is not correct. So the brain's like, well, I don't know, I'm going to make you dizzy and give you nausea and make it, or give you like the spinning sensation for your eyes too, even though maybe you're looking at it should be straight.
So vertigo would interfere with the senses then or no?
It would, yeah.
Okay,
Does it make you dizzy? Yeah.
like if you sit up too fast, like they need a second to like, cause then it like makes them feel like they're gonna lose their balance or something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know if it would always be sensory conflict theory with vertigo, but it would interfere for sure. Because that could be neurological, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
with like feeling faint. But sensory conflict theory could certainly mix with that. That's why you feel the way you do.
I feel like standing at peak fast might be more in relation to the probably blood pressure, just
Possibly, yeah. There was somebody that like she was on a plane too long sitting and she like had passed away because of like the sitting and the circulation.
Like cloud or something.
Yeah, because it's a good idea to like get up and stand frequently. Or if you're on the plane for like several hours, maybe get up and go to the bathroom and sit back, like do something so you're standing, not just sitting for several hours. If you lock your knees?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
cut the circulation off. My cousin actually did that one time. We were at one of our other cousins, like quinceañeras, we were in the church and she was standing like straight and I guess she didn't realize that her legs were like completely straight and she just passed out.
Wow.
Cause she was like that long enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Somebody in like every basic. In every group of basic training soldiers, somebody stands with their legs locked in formation.
Oh, and then they pass out.
The drill sergeant usually comes by.
That makes sense.
That's funny.
Dragged by.
Talk to me. So we have perception, method by which sensations are experienced at any given moment and are interpreted and organized in some meaningful fashion. How do we do this? Size constancy, shape constancy, and brightness constancy. I'll give you some examples in a moment of what that looks like. So basically, like how we classify things. Here's an example of shape constancy. See how it's like a door, no matter how you look at it. Same thing, we conceptualize this image the same, and we see this as a hat, shape constancy. We also have figure ground, tendency to perceive objects or figures as existing on a background, and the reversible figures a visual illusion where the front or back or image, the figure on the ground cannot be reversed because there's no clues for your brain to know where the figure and the ground are. I'll give you an example in a moment. If you stare at the thing for more than several seconds, it will switch back and forth. It'll do it for me too. Anybody see anything going on here? Stare at it for like several seconds to see if something happens. Where's the front? Where's the back? Look away for a second.
Yeah, I saw. I
See it?
for that
See
one.
it switch? Is this the front? Is that the front?
Well, right now, that's the front for me.
But if you wait,
It's the other way.
it'll switch back and forth because your brain's not sure what to do with it. So it'll give you both images. Bless you. I assure you, it's switching for me too. If I look at it here or if I look at it there. Looks like you go right. It looks like you go into it, and then suddenly it looks like you go into it that way.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Like a swing going forward, you don't know which way it's facing, that way it's.
Yeah, because there's nothing for the figure ground. Yeah, but based on what you're describing, I'm pretty sure that's correct. I don't know if I've seen that one, but I know what you're talking about. You're describing it.
People like take pictures on the wall, but they make it look like they're on the ceiling or something. And it's like they're upside down. So let's pretend that I took pictures like this, but you would think I was laying on the floor. Like up against.
But maybe I'd have to see the picture. Maybe
Like the.
it sounds like what your colleague was just saying. The swimmer. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Super.
You guys see anything going on here? Is one more predominant than the other one?
It's switching.
It's switching, right?
I see faces and I see the little.
Base, but then the faces kind of disappear, then the faces come back. It's fun. Switches. Is it switching for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So we have proximity, the tendency to perceive that objects that are close to each other as part of the same grouping. Similarity, the tendency to perceive things that look similar to each other as being part of the same group. So closure, you guys see. But I didn't actually draw a circle and a square. Your brain completed that. That's the closure principle. So the continuity, tendency to perceive Continuity principle, tendency to perceive things simply as possible, the continuous pattern rather than a complex broken up pattern. Yeah. And this operates on the idea of gestalt, that the parts making up the whole, psychology. Bless you, maybe. Maybe. Okay. Here's our principles: proximity, nearness. See how we start classifying those in terms of how they're sorted. Similarity, those are just circles, but we're making them into squares based on the colors. Closure, principle. Continuity, those seem to cross over. Common region, 6 stars, 6 circles, but because of how they're paired, we're classifying them that way. So we have depth perception, the ability to perceive the world in 3 dimensions. Monocular clues, particular pictorial depth cues for perceiving depth based on one eye only. Linear perspective, like the lines of the road into the picture. Relative size, things that are bigger look like they're closer in the 3-dimensional picture. I have some examples on the next slide. Overlap, like how things, I was pretty sure how that overlap, aerial perspective or atmospheric perspective, monocular depth perception cue, the haziness that surrounds objects that are farther away from the viewer, causing the distance to be received as greater. Motion parallax, monocular depth perception cue, the perception of motion of objects in which close objects appear to move quickly rather than objects far away. Also, some of that is if you ever stayed at a hotel and parked right next to the building and then you look down at your car, how weird the roof looks, motion parallax. But mostly about the stuff move quickly than object moves more quickly than objects farther away. Accommodation, monocular cue of depth perception, the brain's use of information about the changing thickness of the lens of the eye in response to looking at objects that are further away. Texture gradient is similar to relative size. That has to do with, again, like if you look at like rocks versus pebbles, like how close they are to the picture. So you perceive that in a 3-dimensional way.
So with the exercise that you asked if we, left off on that one in the beginning of class today, did like that.
What do you mean? One.
Binocular cues,
Oh, that used for shooting that based one eye. Well, these are.
based only on one eye, or is that different because you were bringing it closer and you weren't able to see it from the?
Oh, the blind spot. It has to do with the, where the, it has to do with the,
Okay,
it has to do with the, with the, or the optic nerve is.
then never mind.
And then that other thing that we did was the abstract blind spots. We all have blind spots as people. That's included.
But this would not be the same thing, because it's saying it's based on one eye only.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the same thing as what we did earlier,
Mm.
or the last.
You see, you're in the ballpark for sure, because like you see two separate images with each eye and they're several centimeters apart. So binocular clue, we're gonna talk about binocular clues in a moment, but that's related, but it has to do with the optic nerve is
Okay,
in each eye. So what ends up happening is your brain goes, okay, this image, that image, we're gonna put them together.
I'm understanding.
And then when we start to take away that image, then the brain's like, well, I can only see so much because then the other eye can't put the image over it for the blind spot.
They kind of go together, but they're still two different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same car. Yeah.
But on a Monday is crazy. Sounds like he's going to the club.
I can't confirm tonight if I've ever seen like drag racing in Aurora that night. So for example, there's your linear perspective, an A with the lines of the road. You have your texture gradient. These look bigger than those. Aerial perspective, you see how like this is kind of hazy, you think it's further out. And then relative size, where the flowers are in proximity into the picture.
Well, that one's almost like a picture of the rocks.
Yeah, they're real similar conceptually, yeah. So we have binocular cues for receiving depth based on both eyes. Convergence, binocular depth perception cue, the rotation of the two eyes in their sockets to focus on a single object, resulting in greater convergence for objects that are lesser and convergence with objects that have distance. Like I had to put my eyes closer together to see this water bottle, but further apart as I looked out the whole classroom. Binocular disparity, binocular depth perception cue the difference in images between two eyes, which is greater for objects that are close and similar for distant objects. So the convergence and the disparity. Remember what microsaccades is from last week? Microsaccades? What? That's funny. That's some good psych humor. No, microsaccades, your that's your eye muscle moving constantly in the back of your eyes. To prevent the idea of like image being burned into your brain of what you're seeing. I'll be able to prove that in several slides.
So it like moves quickly so that you're not focusing on one thing for too long.
Yeah, so it
Unless
doesn't
you
get burned.
physically try to focus on one.
And
thing.
yes, it'll still move.
Okay,
So this is a graphical representation of convergence on our left and binocular disparity on our right. It's just a way to see that conceptually. We have the Hermann grid, possibly due to the response of the primary visual cortex that's coming up, and the Mueller-Lyer illusion, the illusion of lines with arrows drawn inward or outward makes them look like they're longer or shorter than each other. No, I haven't been there. Oh,
You should ask to take us on a field trip there.
totally.
Like they're with,
Yeah.
there's like a floor and they'll like be standing next to each other, but in the photo it looks like someone's hired.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, if we could do that, if we all agreed, I'd probably have to like email my dean. But if it was a thing to enrich your understanding, the Wonder Museum, we want to make sure that the hours made sense so we could go. And we'd probably have to have some sort of like, at least a minimum class discussion, like some sort of assignment to like talk about what we learned. So we were hitting the learning objectives. But for real, if you guys want to check that out, we could. We all have to probably have to take our own cars, if there's no parking. Um, a lot of times what was that? Oh, we have to figure out a way to all agree on that, but if it's something we could do, or we could find a day when like it's free for students or something, because like that's usually a thing, or we go on a different day, or take the train. We can do that. We can do like some things that I do usually during the course is I will show like psych movies, but like as enrichment. But again, I should not be the audio textbook. I should be enriching your understanding. So if the Wonder Museum makes sense and we all decide to do that, and we can all realistically do that, or at least a good chunk of us realistically, then that is something we can do. We can do a field trip. All I have to do is send an email and say, here's what we're doing. We are holding this off site. I'd probably get the green light from her. Probably wouldn't be an issue because it would still hit a learning objective. Because it would enrich your understanding of the visual illusions. Maybe a show of hands who wants to do a field trip. A lot of people. Okay. 'Cause we probably can. I always have to just shoot an email and see if it's something we can do. And then a little bit of research, you'd probably all be responsible for your own parking. Depending on if there's a free day or not for students, you may or may not have to pay to enter the museum.
I was gonna say Spot Hero.
Spot Hero is amazing. Yeah.
So we can always use that too.
Or the train, whatever works. Does anyone see anything going on here at the intersections?
That's in the middle of them.
Look directly at the intersection, watch what happens.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Is it because we're trying to connect the corners in a sense when we're not looking at it? Like
That
kinda how
transduction, yeah.
But it just makes like the black kind of seeps into like the middle
Yeah.
of them.
Because there's really not anything black, but if you look at it as a whole, you see it. I see it too.
But I'm saying like because of the corners of the other ones that are black, I
Yeah.
feel like it makes it look like that.
Yeah, it says that it's the response to the primary visual cortex doing that. What about which line's longer?
The right one.
Either.
Oh, JK. Oh, yeah, I think that was the only one.
It's all right. You have the moon illusion. The moon on the horizon appears to be larger than the moon in the sky. That's based on the apparent distance hypothesis. That is coming up in like 2 slides. Microsaccades. You want to just email me like a link to the Wonder Museum or just something, just so I have a cue to remember to reach out to see if we can do that. And then I could probably put it like an announcement or something for everybody. But if assuming they say okay, which
I was gonna say, I guess also depending on the time, we might have to go, are we able to go earlier than our school time as long as we plan
I
it?
think we're allowed, yeah.
would
But I have a day
prefer to
job.
call off, Like,
Yeah.
call off or only work in the morning.
Yeah, I have to work
Which I
till
can do.
like 3:20 until Lake Park, but if we did like a 4 to 7 or something, I'm not sure like what
Yeah.
their hours are or something similar. What? So we did like a 4 to 7 or something. or 4 to 6. I mean, something similar to the class time
Yeah.
would be the idea. Yeah.
You know those illusions that like, it's like a picture and like you look at like this dot in the middle and then you look away and.
Oh, she wasn't here last week. We did it last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the after images.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it last week.
That's-
Well, it's not.
got it.
It's not the one where it's like it's a sailboat. That's something different. The one where like you look at the dot in the center and then you see the reverse image of it.
Yeah. Like,
That's the after image. Yeah, that's the after image. That's the opponent process theory in terms of the pairs of the cones and the eyes, like red and what is it? Red, green, blue, and yellow that are like
Yeah.
paired together. Like I think it's blue and yellow and red and green, because that's why we saw the American flag last week. Because it was white stars. No, it was dark stars, wasn't it?
I think that it was.
On yellow.
Yellow, yeah,
Yeah.
like the yellow bar.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you look at that for 30 seconds or more, like at the white dot, and look at anything white, you'll see the American flag. Yeah, that's actually that's literally that. We have the autokinetic effect to this day. If you guys watch a movie, it's just a bunch of pictures. Looks like they're moving. Stroboscopic motion, if this was completely dark and I had a flashlight up here and there was no other lights coming in from anywhere, you would think that I was moving the flashlight, and it's not, and I'm not. Phi phenomenon, microsaccades would support that, which is coming up to a theater near you in like the next slide. The phi phenomenon, lights turn on in a sequence around Christmas, one after the other. It looks like it moves around the house. It's not actually moving, it's just the phi phenomenon. Rotating snakes, that's literally the next slide, and so is the enigma. Microsaccades. You'll be a believer, Ariana, when we see next slide on the stroboscopic motion. Okay, I just want to paste. All right, guys. See anything going on there?
Looks like the ones that you don't directly look at are moving, but when you look at it, it's not moving.
Microsaccades right there. Yeah,
That's it.
they're not. It's actually a still image that supports microsaccades stroboscopic motion.
It's the window.
Yeah, but the bigger ones are
Because of the way the structure goes.
probably. Yeah.
This is like art class mixed with psychology.
That's true. I remember my.
Because I remember
like,
they
learn
would teach
how
us how to
to-
kind of do those things, or like the
Yeah.
illusion, or like
Yeah.
looking. Like.
Is it moving for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You
think.
try to look away.
It only moves for me when I'm. Like if I get closer or further away, it moves, but if I stop and hold still, it just stay in the middle.
Well, generally it moves
Yeah.
because of microsaccades.
That second one's supposed to move.
Not as much. It does move a little bit, though, doesn't it? I feel like the first is a better example.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's definitely moving.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, this one's not. That's fair.
Sure, no, this.
If you start at the middle, it probably will move for you.
I don't see anything moving, but I almost around the rings see something like when you're on the ring.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Like a car or something.
Green light, blue.
And I almost see orange on the middle rings.
Yeah, well, there's some orange. So. We have a perceptual set, perceptual expectancy, tendency to perceive things. This can be anything. This can be senses or otherwise a certain way based on expectations. I used to work somewhere where if your manager would talk to you, it was always negative. And then I worked somewhere else for like the first year and a half. I had like anxiety about like talking to my manager. And 95% of the time it was positive. Your manager was like, hey, come talk to me. But the other place it was super negative. So it was that perceptual set. Top-down processing, the use of pre-existing knowledge to organize individual features into a unified whole. In a sense, scaffolding information. I think that's the same guy. Sounds like the same, it's just going around.
Feeling something. He's driving around the same area. Or he really likes to drive in downtown.
Yeah.
Enjoying the fresh air.
Or it's a club like Uber.
Or it's a what?
Club like Uber.
Yeah. Once we was an undergrad, I think that we had like some party bus. And they've got a keg thing on the bus.
On the bus?
Yeah. And then took you to all the bars. Times. Yeah.
The drinking days are over. I haven't drank this whole year.
That's pretty awesome. I rarely drink. It's like it's like a social thing, but I don't.
7 months, please.
I get too sick. I don't.
Yeah.
It's incredibly rare, but like I might have one or two if like it's a special event. Last time was like actually a year and a half ago in Guadalajara. We were at the club, so I mean, and they don't really do anything over there if you have too much. They're just like, just keep going. They don't throw you out. It's great. When Bill's hand like fell over and like got back out, it was fine. It's funny. They'll kick you out. And it's like $5 USD to get in. This really tiny club. Then we got carried away with bottle service because it was Guadalajara. So bottom up processing, the analysis of smaller features to build to a complete perception.
So this one would be the listening to a song for the first time, and the other one would be that you've already heard it.
Sort of, but it's like
Or somebody
your
who speaks
concept
other language would be that. Because they don't already know,
yeah,
and they gotta try to make sense.
of it. That kind of makes sense. I feel like you might use both for a language because this is like pre-existing knowledge. Because
Well,
like
I'm saying
Spanish and
like-
English, there's some stuff that's real close. There's
Yeah.
some stuff that's like the same. Not very many things, but there's some things that are the same.
But even if you recognize the words.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I think that was the example that they used in the book, was that this girl only knew a certain language and then that she was trying to learn a different language, but she had no idea of the other language.
Well, that makes sense because like the vocabulary, sure. Avio. I mean, really? Sounds like obvious to me. I mean, there are some things that are the same in Spanish. So I had to think of one of them. Yeah. See anything happening here?
Also,
It's problematic.
there's 3, but there's 2,
Yeah,
like the little.
but it's not actually possible. Right?
Well, it kind of like switches a little, but it's, I think, really 2. It's just there.
So that one. So I think our next thing is, I'm pretty sure it's consciousness, which we can start talking about. Right? You guys are doing consciousness right now, I think. Sure. Pretty sure that's right. This section. Yeah. Um, Simmons. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's consciousness. Yeah. Right, so files.
But it's really chapter 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Download. Slideshow. So consciousness is a series of channels. Think about your consciousness. How would you define your channels? Consciousness is awareness of everything that's going on around you and inside your head at any moment. Any examples of consciousness besides what the slide says?
Real.
Yeah. When you're awake, when you realize you're paying attention to what you're doing.
Inner thoughts.
Inner thoughts. Yeah.
Feel like driving.
Oh, that's a control process. But is it that's coming up? Is that an automatic process? Did you? I don't know how much experience you have. Like I'm not sure all the ages in the room, but like after a certain point of driving, how much do you really think about what you're doing to?
That's what I'm getting at. Like,
Yeah.
you're like doing it without reason.
Yeah.
Driving.
Or an awareness.
It's like an awareness, like consciousness and awareness. And be careful with the whole I'm gonna use my phone while I drive, okay? Because if you use your phone while you drive, you're 50% more likely to get into a car accident. If you use Bluetooth, it's 40% more likely. If you text and drive, you're 20 times more likely to get into a car accident. It's psychologically equivalent of showing up to your car drunk or high. Okay? Like it's the equivalent of slamming like 4 drinks, any type of beverage, like a mixed drink or alcohol and getting in the car. Like bad idea to text and drive. I'm not naive enough to think that there are people that have done it in this room as recently as today, but you really shouldn't do it. What was that? There was more?
I said, or pulling an all-nighter and trying to drive home.
Yeah, if you have 4 hours or less of sleep, that's also the equivalent of being drunk or high. Like caffeine will stave it off a little bit, but like you'll be a bit of a zombie. Sleep affects cognition. Like
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing.
you need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night to be successful cognitively speaking, also cements memory. And your consciousness can be affected or altered by lack of sleep. You can actually hallucinate, and not because you ingested something, okay? Like your brain will make up for the REM. Yeah, I remember I hallucinated the deer from like me to maybe the first table or two in when I was driving really tired when I was like 18. And I blinked my eyes for a second and then the deer wasn't there. It wasn't left or right. It was literally a hallucination making up for REM or microsleep.
Specifically driving though, I didn't figure that was the kinesthetic senses where you have muscle memory.
There is muscle memory. Yeah, we're literally gonna talk about that, like automatic processes. Like, how much do you think about speaking as you're thinking? Not as much as we, but it's. I feel like English is very intuitive. Like, you don't really have to think. Like German, the verb's at the end of the sentence, so you kind of have to think of what you're going to say before you say it. Like in English, it's pretty easy to just speak as you're thinking. So, waking consciousness, we're clear and organized. I think we kind of talked about that a little bit. And then altered consciousness, where there's a shift or quality in the pattern of your mental activity. Altered states of consciousness, examples. Drugs, yeah, absolutely. Concussion, yeah. Was that?
You get an open state of consciousness if you don't have enough water because you're not getting enough oxygen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all state of consciousness, yeah.
Cool vertical count. When you have like a vertical zone or no?
Is it changing your consciousness? That's what you want to think about.
You said vertigo?
Vertigo, like dizziness, right? Like,
Well, like, cause like, for instance, like, I mean, you'll start spinning, I mean.
Like you're aware that it happens, so you're like, oh, wait, like I'm getting a.
so it feels like
reaction.
altered.
Yeah.
It changes your mental activity. And I guess I would probably want to say, like, how disruptive is it? It was really disruptive and it's a shift. Sure. It was like, oh, yeah, I'm dizzy. I'm still kind of here and I'm not shifting then maybe not. But if it's severe, yeah, I think that would be, that would make sense. Hallucinating, yeah, that'd be other state of consciousness. That's more like mental illness, but OCD is considered to be very common. Yes, it's still in the DSM-5, but if we talk about what constitutes normal abnormal behavior, which are the four Ds, which are dysfunction, distress, deviance, social, or legal deviance, and danger to self or others. OCD is very common, so there may be a shift in terms of eventually be taken out of the manual. OCPD is a little bit more severe. That's OCD personality disorder. OCD is you have an obsession and a compulsion. So if you're afraid of like someone breaking into your place, you lock the door like 10 times or check it 10 times. The obsession is the worry, the compulsion is the thing. That ex-friend of mine, she would actually count the number of steps in this sidewalk and rewalk them again if she didn't get the right number. A little bit of OCD.
That is weird.
If you didn't have the right number in her head, it would really bother her and she'd do it again. Or if you're afraid of germs, you have that severe concern about being contaminated from some like a baby diaper you see like at the end of the classroom in the parking lot. And you're like, there's no way there could be real tanks of germs attacking me, but it's still a very real fear. It's an obsession and a compulsion, which constitutes magical thinking, like the idea that the germs are going to attack you on little army tanks. Like it's magical thing, and the idea of magical thinking is thinking about the thing it's going to happen just because you're thinking about it. I don't mean like what I described with Wim Hof and healing his foot and his leg. I mean like just magical thinking that's not really based on logic. That makes sense. So because it's Gen Psych, we usually talk about abnormal psychology at the very end or towards the end of the mental illnesses, just in terms of like pairing it with the chapter. Like I have something we can talk about now to walk you through it, but then we need to come back to like other stuff. So control process, we talked about this driving, paying attention, carrying on a conversation. Automatic process is less, talk about muscle memory. What are some examples you think of either of these? I know I was walking. Get you something? Yeah.
How about
That-
cooking?
If you've done it a lot, sure. Yeah, 'cause you're not really thinking about it as much. Chopping on vegetables, yeah.
Cutting the grass.
Yeah. Anything you've done that's like routine that you really know, it's automatic. Like I remember I was on the phone talking to someone and I had all this experience. It was actually in student success with helping students with obstacles. And I was like making food and my boss like was just blown away. Like, how can you like make food in the microwave? Because all the conversations are very similar. They weren't identical, but they were similar. Automatic process. A lot of similar solving problems. So we have sleep, the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm comes from two Latin words, circa, which means about, and diem, which is day. It was thought that sleep came from serotonin, but this was debunked because serotonin producing neurons are the most active during sleep. Body temperature also plays a role in sleep. High body temperature, awake, low body temperature, you're going to be tired. You also have melatonin, that's the sleepy chemical, that there's more of it when it's dark out and less when it's light out. That makes you sleepy. Be careful with melatonin over the counter because you can get an immunity to it, like a tolerance.
Like it will stop working.
It'll stop working. Like there's tolerance when you have anything that's any sort of, all the selectivity should be a drug. You have tolerance, you also have reverse tolerance. Reverse tolerance is more rare, that's where you need less of it. Yeah. So what you could do is you could like use blackout curtains. You could use like a face mask. Like you can do stuff that increase your melatonin levels, but that's literally the sleepy chemical. I don't know if I know the answer to that. I might have to look it up. I'd have to check that out. Yeah. Yeah, you really don't. Which theory do you guys agree with for theories of sleep and why? Is it the blend? Is it one or the other? Which theory? It also, by the way, sleep helps us to form memories. By the way. So like it's actually better to like study and then go to bed and then stay up all night.
But they also matter with the hours, like not how many hours you sleep, but the hour you go to sleep and the hour you wake up.
That's the circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
Like that's on, it's like a cycle.
So
You,
like you should go to sleep before 10 p.m. Like if you're not asleep before 10 p.m. or like actually asleep by 10 p.m. Like that's the best time, because then if you go to bed by like 12, but you still wake up at like 8 or 9 in the morning the next day, that's the 9 hours, but it's still not the healthy sleep because it's not from like a window, I guess. from,
circadian
like,
rhythm,
8 to like
yeah.
6.
And some of that's driven by society, culture, job, like a lot of things can drive it. Like people have different circadian rhythms, but you're right. Like there's something to that. Like it would be better to sleep than, and the same. Yeah.
To do it, like, I mean, it doesn't even matter, I'm saying like, if you sleep at different times, or whatever, I'm saying in general, like the healthy
Same.
sleep is during like 10 to like 6 a.m. or something.
Yeah, that's what I've heard before too.
And
like,
that if you go to sleep
certain
after that,
times.
then it's not as, like, yeah, you're sleeping, but it's
Not as deep of a sleep.
I'm saying you're still getting the same amount of hours, but
Yeah.
it's just when you're actually.
That would make sense though, because of like the melatonin levels, right? Because that would be like when it's dark to like the sunlight, it comes through their window. Yeah, the temperature too. Yeah.
Well, that's not realistic on these things, because we don't get home till like night.
Well, inflation is the biggest thing. Sort of. It does restore us. It does allow us to process information. Everyone ever feel like you're falling when you're falling asleep? Now, yes, that's just a hypnotic jerk. There's a like humans tribally used to sleep in trees a long time ago. This does not explain the physiological aspect of this, the falling sensation, but there's this interesting theory that we have a genetic memory of falling out of trees, like the trauma from generations. But it doesn't explain the physiology. The physiology gives us a little bit more in terms of that feeling, because like your heart rate's dropping, etc.
They way that amygdala works when we have like the fight or flight sense because of back then.
Yeah, it helped us a lot.
Phobias now over things that are not really a threat to us, but because of before. So that's kind of the same thing, but with sleep.
You can run it. If you miss one night of sleep, you're good luck, right? So we have rapid eye movement, sleep, REM, a stage of sleep which the eyes move rapidly under the eyelids, and the person is typically experiencing a dream. This is the most restful type of sleep. 90% of dreams happen in REM sleep. You also have non-REM, which also starts the hypnagogic state, where basically you can still have dreams. Beta wave, it's less common, but most of them happen in REM. Oh, that, not the lecture. Okay, I got you. I thought you were like, I was like,
Oh, sorry. They're distracting me.
where's there more brain activity, when you're asleep or when you're awake? What do you guys think? Where is there more brain activity, when you're asleep or awake?
I think
Ariana's got it. You have more brain activity when you're asleep. Is it really that exciting out there, guys? Should we take a second to look out there? Is there a bunch of stop, just loud?
now it just sounds like there's a group of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, there's like something that was.
Okay. All right. We have beta waves, smaller, faster brain waves, usually indicating mental activity. Alpha waves, brain waves indicate a state of relaxation or sleep, and theta waves indicating the early stages. Here's what they look like.
If they've ever done a study on if people really get more sleep or not, because there's people that sleep with their eyes open. Or not, like people that actually sleep with their eyes closed and some that
That's
sleep with them open.
unusual, but it does happen. You have a story? Yeah. That should be like a genetic thing, but there's also sleep disorders too. Like sleep talking, sleep walking. There's a lot of sleep disorders. When you're asleep, you should not be acting your dreams out. That's called sleep paralysis. That's normal. Make sure I say it right. I said it wrong to a psych class once, and they were like, "Oh my gosh." Okay, if you toss and turn, that's normal. If you're beating the hell out of your partner, you have a sleep disorder. You need to get that checked out. Okay. Like that is a sleep disorder. You should not be acting out your dreams. You're not running in your dreams. You're not fighting people in your dreams. Your body should be paralyzed based on how REM works.
Is that like the thing, like sometimes when I like yell in my dreams, I yell in real life? Is that like the same thing?
That's not,
Sleep talking.
that's the sleep talking, which is not as severe as like the sleep
Okay.
walking, but yeah, a little bit.
A couple times, I actually physically got out of the bed and was walking asleep. Apparently, my parents say.
I heard that it's more common for kids to do that than like adults, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
I think you can grow out of that.
Somnambulism, you're talking about sleepwalking?
Things like they say, well.
Yeah.
And then he just stops, crazy.
Sleepwalking is more common in kids.
Figure out.
Neurocognitive development, like there's a lot of like things that are happening. When you're falling asleep, you have N1 light sleep. Experience of hypnagogic images or hallucinations like dreams. The hypnotic jerk, that's the falling sensation, and it's a reaction to prevent it. Where you're talking about that a second where you flinch, that's hypnotic jerk. You have N2 sleep spindles, a second or two at someone wakes you up, you've been sleeping, you have theta waves at this point. You're still not in REM. Now you have N3 delta waves, slowest and longest waves increase from 20% brain activity to 50 with these waves, and you're not in REM yet.
So the deeper into sleep you get, then the more.
Yeah. Which is crazy because like you wake up rested, right? Like you would think it'd be the other way around. Wouldn't you have more activity when you're awake?
Before bed and your.
That's
brain
not
is
good.
obviously- I know, but I'm saying that your brain is like now doing double the work because your body's supposed to be sleeping, not like.
Digesting,
processing that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or even when you're like really processed, so you don't get chronosphere.
When you really what?
Like if you're really focusing on something, processing, using.
You're still using mental energy, but you have more brain activity when you're asleep than when you're awake.
Like, okay, I still have to breathe, I still have to like do all this to survive, so yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Like your heart's still got to beat. There's still stuff that has to happen. Then you hit REM, or you go back in the new N2 stage, like N3 into REM, or N3, N2, then you start to heart rate beats rapidly, you wake up. 90% of our dreams take place in REM. The most bizarre dreams, which is so interesting because like we just go with these off the wall things in our dreams, right? Like stuff that we would never allow in reality. You're like, no, it's cool.
Like look up, my friend's cheating on me.
Just all this, my previous stepmom used to have these crazy dreams and she would confront my dad about it. And she's like, oh, I had a dream. You're a cheat. He's like, I've been here the whole time. Like, because she'd have these dreams. Yeah. Sleep paralysis, the inability of muscles that like you should have this. REM rebound. You don't have enough REM sleep for the previous night, you experience more the next night. Babies have 50% REM sleep, but also about 20%.
So like you're so patient sided, you have to remember it the next day.
What's interesting about dreams, yeah, because you're so is we get fragments of information, the brain's processing.
So like.
Yeah. They say that the memory of the dream is you concocting a story as you wake up, and then it's a bunch of random stuff. Dreams are interesting because if you have a recurring dream, the universe, God, spirituality, however you want to look at it, maybe they're trying to tell you something, like a recurring dream. What do you got? You got an example?
The other day, this is a question. So I kept like waking up during like a REM cycle, and I kept like remembering all my dreams. I woke up like maybe 10 times. Every time I would go to sleep, I kept falling back asleep. I would like remember my dream like so much that I could start like controlling myself. So it was like weird.
Then you might be lucid dreaming. That's
Yeah, but do you know why like you don't restart your sleep cycle when you go back?
because it's in cycles and it's like in a sense automatic. You can't just will like the REM, like it's every like 90 minutes or so, like you in and out of these sleep cycles throughout. Also, if you have a physically exhausting job, you have more non-REM sleep, like or physically exhausting tasks throughout the day. If you have mentally exhausting tasks, you have more REM sleep. So like how the brain replenishes itself has to do with that. And you can dream in both, but more of your dreams, 90% happen in REM, rapid eye movement. There's a question there, or are you just thinking about it?
I was gonna say, what about when you have like dreams that are so vivid to the point that when you wake up, you feel like it's part of like your real life or it sets the mood for the day?
See, I had a dream that I can't explain last semester. I dreamt that I went into work really late and somehow there was no access to like phones or texting or emails or something, which is like completely absurd. And I was really late to work. And then I got up and I actually went to work and I was like, holy shit, it's only 6:30. Cool, I can still make it to work. Like it was like exactly what you're talking about. But I cannot explain this as a scientist. So the day goes on and I was teaching out here and I was teaching at COD in the evening. Went to my day job, went to COD. I was concerned with my dad's health and I got some concerning news. And I put the wrong GPS in to come out here and I sent myself home. And I started to notice the highway looks like not the path here. So I realized I'm going the wrong way. So I called and Waubonsee was like, yeah, we'll tell your students. They never told you guys. You guys all waited, which was really awesome. I came into Aurora and there was literally a huge police presence on the way I would go, and I had to go out of my way to avoid the thing. I don't know what that was. I can't explain that. It feels like some heavy intuition because I dreamt I was going to go to work late and it wasn't until the third class of the day, and maybe it saved my life. I don't know. Because I was on the freeway when whatever happened, which could have been something big.
Yeah.
I can't explain that. So we'll come back to this. We'll go a few minutes early. We'll talk about sleep disorders and consciousness next week. A little bit. These are shorter. And we'll break out into some groups to look at sleep disorders and some of the things drugs, alcohol do to affect us in small groups. Well, that is just connect assignments. Johari Windows, a little message. If you didn't do it last week, make sure you email it to me ASAP so you still get credit for it. Yeah. Don't come to class next week until I have it done, because then I may not accept it at that point. Other than that, have a great night, everyone. If you have urgent